Sahana bhavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So topic given this evening is purification of mind as a topic. I think volume can be lowered a little bit, yeah. Purification of mind is really a value. If we understand what a mind that has been purified, what does it do to us, how it is valuable to us, then purification of the mind becomes valuable. Basically, we can be dedicated to something only when it is valuable to us. And like anything else, purification of something which is impure is going to take effort. And we will be willing to invest in that effort. Our time, our energy, our emotions, provided it is valuable to us. So Upanishad tells us, Atmanasu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Whatever is dear to me is dear because really it is a pleased self that is dear to me. So this is the first thing to understand. That most valuable thing in my life is myself, and not just myself, but the pleased self is the most valuable thing to me. That's what I am seeking to be. That is really the agenda or the goal that we have. To be pleased, to be happy. Second question is, when am I happy? When we say pleased self, pleased with what? Pleased with my own self. So happy self is most important to me. Self is most important, happy self, not just self. Because self I always have. But the happy self is most important. And when am I happy? When I am happy with myself. So when am I happy with myself? So that is very easy. I'll be happy with myself. If just being happy with myself is all that we need, fine, I'll be happy with myself. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen by will. I cannot will that I'm happy with myself. It has to happen. So happiness is not the result of will. It is something that has to happen. What we can do by will is to create situation when that happiness happens. Like love, we cannot will. I want to love somebody. I cannot will or love something. Otherwise, mothers would have no problem. With all broccoli and all that stuff that mothers want to eat, the children to eat, which do not interest the children. If love could be a will, that I love broccoli, I love kale, whatever, supposed to be very healthy things. If simply by my desire or by my will I could love a given thing, it would have been so wonderful. But just as love has to happen, so also happiness has to happen. And what we can do is to create conditions when happiness happens. So what is that condition? When I am happy with myself, I am pleased with myself. When I see myself an acceptable person. When I approve of myself. When I validate myself. Meaning, when I am able to live up to my own expectations of myself, that is when only I am pleased. I am pleased with anything only when that thing fulfills my expectations. To love a person, love anything. I always have expectations. No expectation, no problem in life really. But we are all conditions. I love something when it satisfies my conditions, when it fulfills my expectations. Similarly, I can be pleased with myself, I can love myself, provided I fulfill my own expectation of myself. It's amazing. So what's wrong with that, Swami? Why should I not fulfill my expectation? Because there are two I's in there. Two I means I, capital I, not E-Y-I. Within ourselves, two I's are there. One is, I'm happy whenever that I comes into play. The other I, when it comes, I become unhappy. What are the two I's are there? One is, as Lord Krishna says, a divine I. Other is a demoniac I. Two fellows are there. Not just a demon, not a demon. A demoniac I, you see. Not just a divine entity, a divine I. There is a divine I and there is a demoniac I. Whenever I see the divine I am happy. Whenever I see the demoniac I become unhappy. Meaning that whenever that demoniac I manifests itself, I become unhappy with my own self. And therefore, in order for me to be happy with myself, it is necessary that the divine I should manifest itself. Where does I manifest? In the mind. Mind is a place where the self shines as I. As the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam, that the I is as though hidden or placed in the cave of the heart, and that's where it shines. And I'm always conscious of the self because it is self-revealing. I can't avoid that I, that's not the problem, because it is self-revealing, and therefore I'm always conscious about it. So at any given time, either one of them becomes manifest, either the divine I or the demoniac I. There can be a neutral I also. When divine I manifests, I'm happy. Demoniac I manifests, I'm unhappy. So when is I divine? When the medium in which the I manifests is divine, then the I is divine. The medium where the I manifests is demoniac, I appears demoniac. So I appears divine and I appears demoniac. I is only one. Appears divine, appears demoniac. Like my reflection. Appears very beautiful. Depending upon mirror. There are some mirrors, those mirrors magnify. 2 times, 4 times, 10 times. When you see them, I don't know, look at my own self, everything is magnified. All kinds of things on my face. So, some mirrors are such that they make me look ugly. Some mirrors are such that they make me look good. So, just as we prefer the mirrors which make us look good, that mind is a mirror in which I see myself. And therefore, the mind either reflects a demoniac I or a divine I. When it reflects divine I, I'm happy with myself. When it reflects demoniac I, I'm unhappy with myself. So, whether I is divine or demoniac depends upon the reflecting medium, which is mind, like a mirror. So, to work with that mind, the mirror, so that the one that is reflected in that is a pleasing one. That I become pleased looking at my own self. So, even the pictures also, we are not always pleased. Our own photographs also. That's why we always pose in a certain way so that the photograph will be pleasing one. Sometimes there's a catch unaware, and then so we don't want to be caught unaware. They just take, what do they call, natural photographs or no, we want to be always to pose and so that I look, even photograph I look good. I always want to see myself good looking. Whatever my definition of good looking is. Well, as far as good lookingness of the face is concerned, I may have my own definition. As far as good lookingness of the self is concerned, everybody has the same definition. Fortunately. That's why one solution can apply to all, otherwise it won't apply. As far as my face is concerned, everybody has a different beautician, you have to go and then he has to do different things to different people. But as far as the mirror of the mind is concerned, everybody's need is the same. There is a mind that presents me as a pleasing, acceptable person. There is a mind that presents before me an unacceptable, displeasing person. Because mind is a mirror. It's not a fixed mirror, it's a changing mirror. Therefore, what is important is I and the pleased I. But since it is not in my hand to declare that I am pleased, that pleased I has to happen in that mirror, meaning that the mirror that is a mind has to be such that it reflects a pleasing self. How to work with the mirror? Our mind is a mirror which always reflects ourselves, whether we like it or not. And we always constantly aware of our reflection. And sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't like it. When we like the reflection, we are happy with ourselves. Don't like it, we are unhappy with ourselves. So when am I happy? When I am happy with my reflection. When am I unhappy? When I am unhappy with my reflection. To be happy, therefore, we have to make sure that our reflection is a pleasing reflection. So therefore, we need that mind which reflects a pleasing self. Because I can't determine how the reflection would be. Reflection is always determined by the medium of reflection. That's the problem. It is not the image that governs how the reflection looks like, it is the reflecting medium that governs how the reflection looks like. Is it not so? That mirror happens to be a cracked mirror, then my face will appear cracked. If it is a wavy mirror, my face will appear wavy. If it's a dirty mirror, my face will appear as dull. So all the time, it is the reflecting medium that determines how the reflection is and not what is reflected. The sun may be very bright, but the water in which it gets reflected is dirty. The sun will appear, blind. It will also appear dirty or dull. Sun is steady. If the reflecting medium is wavy, then sun will appear wavy. Sun has no choice. And suppose sun looks at his own reflection and decides who he is, then every time he looks at, I'm wavy, I'm distracted, I'm restless, I'm ugly, I'm dirty. Sun makes judgment about himself looking at its own reflection in the mirror, in the water. Similarly also, we make judgments about ourselves looking at our reflection in the mind. If I could make judgment about what I am, that's a different matter. But we make judgment about ourselves depending upon how the reflection is in the mirror of the mind. And since I cannot control what the reflection would be, it is the mind, the reflecting medium, that controls how the reflection would be. Therefore, if I want to see a pleasing reflection, I must only create a mind that reflects a pleasing self. Is it not so? So, even though all I want is to be happy with myself, that's all I want. The only thing that a human being wants is just to be happy with himself or herself. That's all we want. Other things are all icing on the cake. With many other things that we want, we think they're important. They're not so important. They're required for the comfort of the body and things like that. But other than that, what is most important to me is that pleasing self, pleased self. But that depends upon the reflection, the mind. So real agenda, if the pleased self is my goal, then how should I go about doing that? By creating the mirror of the mind that reflects a pleasing self. So how should that mind would be? Which mind reflects a pleasing self? Mind is made up of three dispositions: sattva, rajas and tamas. So when there is predominance of tamas, then mind makes me look dull. Like a mirror that is dirty, dull. When the mind is predominant rajas, it makes me look wavy, distracted, restless. When the mind is predominant sattva, it makes me look what? Pleased, tranquil, lovable. Simple as that. Therefore, to be happy, what we need to do is to create a mind that reflects a happy self. A sattvic mind, in short. So call it sattvic mind or pure mind. When they talk of purification of mind, it means that making the mind predominant in sattva. Right now, all the three fellows are there. Sattva is also there, but rajas is there mostly, and tamas also is there. And so, I have to make an effort to remove deliberately the tamas and rajas from the mind and create the predominance of sattva in my mind. I have to do that. So that is the real way of becoming happy. Because more the mind is sattvic, more pleasing is the reflection. Instead of that, you know what people do? They go about acquiring and trying to experience things that are pleasing. What we do is, we seek experience of pleasing things and pleasing beings. What it does is, momentarily it may create a pleasing mind, but momentarily. Once the influence of that pleasing thing goes away, then mind goes back to its old state. If we depend upon something else to create a pleased mind, that's a very expensive stuff. Because anything that creates a pleased mind, number one, always requires a pound of flesh. Nothing comes free. And then also, it pleases me conditionally. Meaning that if I satisfy those conditions for a limited period of time, that will create a pleased mind. Its utility will run out, because everything has a diminishing utility. Its utility runs out, I am back to where I am. This is how a human being leads a life. Poor fellow, doesn't know the basics of the life as to how to be happy. So only thing that a human being knows is that I become happy when I experience pleasing things. So those things appear like, they act like mirrors. And they seem to reflect a pleased self. And therefore I want them. But that is always conditional. So I should do really that, where that pleased self is under my control and I don't have to depend upon uncertain things. Because there is no guarantee. The thing that looks pleasing to me now will always remain pleasing to me, meaning that it will reflect the pleasing self. There is no guarantee. Or how long will it remain pleasing? There is no guarantee. And that it always wants price to remain pleasing, and the price always grows up. This is human life. Keeps on paying more and more price for the same quantum of happiness. So, Vedanta, it is a very simple thing. Hold your ear this way rather than going around. Is that you directly create a pleased mind, which you can do by getting rid of rajas and tamas, which are simplified as raga and dvesha. So ragas and dveshas are called the impurities of mind, called mala. So mala and vikshepa. Tamas is mala, rajas is vikshepa. So mala means that dirt, impurity. When it is there, the mind is very dull. My reflection also appears very dull. When rajas is there, mind is restless. My reflection also appears restless. I don't like restless self. I don't like dull self. I like bright self. So what I need is sattvic mind. They undertake a program. So when this becomes clear that the only thing really that is to be done in life is only one thing, and that is make the mind sattvic, nothing else is to be done, because whatever else you do is of no meaning. The only thing that I want is happiness. Happiness can be only when I am pleased with myself. That can be only when I see a pleased reflection. That can only be when my mind reflects me as a pleasing self. That can only be when the mind is sattvic. Therefore, what is to be done in life is only one thing. Make the mind sattvic, that's all. But then, Swami, you have to live our life. What do you mean sattvic? We have to fulfill responsibilities. And we have to, Lord Krishna, precisely, make your life as a means of making the mind sattvic. Most practical solution is given by Lord Krishna. Because active people have to fulfill duties, responsibilities are there, family is there, this is there, so many things are there. Good. Lord Krishna says. That's required. If you don't have family, then there is no challenge. There is nobody to push your buttons and no scope for you're working on cleaning your mind. So it's good. Arjuna wants to run away. Arjuna is confronted with a situation which is meant to clean up his mind. But he wants to run away. Because it's challenging. It's painful. Cleaning process can become painful. Because a lot of dust has been deposited there, and it's sometimes you have to scrape it hard, and so when you scrape hard, it can be painful. It can burn. It can be painful. So apparently or unfortunately, this process of cleaning the mind is a little painful process. And therefore, Arjuna is a typical individual who wants to avoid pain, thinking that pain is no good in life. You concluded that pain is a punishment, pain is no good. By pain we mean emotional pain, not so much physical pain, but the emotional pain. We want to avoid that. Arjuna wanted to avoid. What if all these people will die, and what will I do without them, etc. and all that. Emotionally overpowered. But Lord Krishna knows that only that is what will clean up his mind. Those challenges alone that pain alone will clean up the mind. As Swami used to say, that if you want to sharpen your knife, you need a rough grinding stone. You can't have a smooth grinding stone. A rough grinding stone. There also you should know how to hold your knife, so that your knife gets sharpened. If you don't hold it properly, it can get blunt or it can fly away. And that grinding stone must be rough. So life is rough grinding stone. That's what it is. Or it should be. That's why Lord Krishna doesn't want Arjuna to become a sannyasi. Because smooth grinding stone, that's no good. No challenges, no responsibilities. You get bhiksha free, and then also. Therefore there is nothing to grind and nothing to sharpen. It becomes smooth. That everybody likes a smooth grinding stone because no sparks. Rough grinding stone, sparks are there, And sometimes you don't hold it properly, it gets blunt and it flies and it hurts. All kinds of things can happen. Accidents can happen. But there is no other way of sharpening the knife. So, life of duty. Not life, it is duty which is like a rough grinding stone. Because duty demands that in every situation I should do what is right, whether I like it or not. So very often, what I like is not right. What is right, I don't like. Broccoli is right, I don't like. Then raw salad is right, I don't like. What is good for me, I don't like. And chutney, I like. What is not good for me, I like. So what should we do? Swamiji and the police are standing there, moment I pick up that salt, dispense. Swamiji, I put it back. So I'm so scared. So, so you have to eat that broccoli, and not broccoli, which is raw. This raw stuff you are supposed, that's the best for you, Swamiji, but not for my palate, maybe for my health. So more often than not, unfortunately in our life, what is right is usually not what we like. If what is right is what we like, we are lucky. Which is not very common, not very often. Because what we like also in course of time becomes, our mind being what it is, then it gets from the same thing every day in the same routine, and so you want some variety, some change, and so Our mind is quite capable of converting what I like also into what I don't like. So in life, I have to confront things that I do not like, which are right. This is the thing. And that is what Ishvara has done for us. The rough grinding stone. Because then only the knife of our mind can get sharpened. And so, a simple process is do what is right, whether you like it or not. And what is right is often not very simple. What is right to speak truth, not always simple. What is right is to be, forgive. Don't retaliate. Don't take revenge. That's what I want. He did something, I get satisfaction when I give back. Then I have satisfaction. So somebody hurt me, insulted me, I want to give it back. Then I have a satisfaction. So unfortunately, a lot of my satisfaction today comes from what is wrong. When I also retaliate, when I take revenge, when I give them the same in the same token. Because world is like that. They seem to all the time hurt me, push my buttons. And the only thing that I know is to be tit for tat. And tit for tat gives me satisfaction also. That I'm all right, I'm something. If I don't give tit for tat, somebody did tit and I don't do tat. Because that's what Swami told me not to do. So outwardly I keep quiet. I put up with the thing. But that's not a real thing. Inside, of course, I complain, I get hurt, and So, Vedanta says that not only you have to put up with it outside, sahanam saradukhanam, to bear all the pain that comes, apratikara purvakam, without retaliating, without tit for tat. But when you don't do tit for tat, inside, we may not come outwardly, we may maintain a reasonably good front. But inside we get disturbed. So it says, Chinta vilapa rahitam, no vilapa, no lamenting. What happened to me? Self-pity. No, that's no good. So when people hurt us and we cannot retaliate, then we pity ourselves and lament and what all I have to go through in my life, Swami. No, that's not called sahanam. No, what will happen in future? There's chinta, no chinta. So what happened? No lamenting about what happened, no anxiety for what is going to happen, and no retaliation for what is happening. This is called sahanam, that's called titiksha. That's a value. While interacting with the world, value is titiksha. Lord Krishna, tam titiksha svabharata. Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkhadaha. You will have experience of Shita and Ushna, heat and cold, Sukha Dukkha, pleasure and pain. It's going to happen. Let it happen. Tam titiksha svabharata. Hey Bharata, may you bear with them. What is meant by bearing with them? Meaning that may you retain your composure of mind in spite of being treated that way. That's the right thing to do. What I like to do is to give it back. So that is where the conflict comes. So living in the world is not easy that way. Because others are also people like I am. They have their own moods. And so, even from your very near and dear ones also, you can't expect a consistent treatment. We pray that you do, but I doubt very much. Because even the person whom I love also is a human being. They have their own moods and own things going on. So every time I cannot expect the right mood, and sometimes I have to face the situation. What is my tea? Make it yourself. Sometimes you have to hear that. So what's the food today? It is only warmed up food before Sunday's food is given on Thursday or something like that. It happens. So every time they are not always in a mood to do things. I don't want to eat, I'll go out, I'll eat in restaurant, I may react. I want to teach a lesson also, sometimes. But I cannot put up with this. Then that person will want to teach me lesson, and that's how it goes on. And so, in fact, it has become more difficult, closer the person is, more difficult it is. I think, more challenging it is, that is. I have not even switched it on, by the way. You saw that? Oh, I see. That's interesting. Well, so you have to put up with this. So in my mind I will now keep on lamenting. What did I do? I did not switch on. I lost all of that. I recorded. In the olden days, when we went out for sightseeing or whatever, I could not look at anything through my, I must look at it through camera only. I can enjoy something provided I can take a picture of that. Funny thing. So here also, I cannot just talk, it has to be recorded. If it's not recorded, I have a sense of loss. Can you imagine? Arjuna had sense of loss of his dear and near ones. Yeah, a sense of loss. I could not record it. So what does the mind need to become unhappy? Nothing. So just as my mind is like that, other people's mind also is like that. Therefore, for the two things to be in harmony, is two independent things to be in harmony, it's difficult. It's tough. Tam stitiksha. So Lord Krishna says, while interacting with the world, and particularly with the people who are close to you, closer the person is, more tolerance is required. And I should not even say tolerance is not the value. Even though titiksha means forbearance. But more accommodation is required. More large-heartedness is required. Because expectations are more. After all, you're married to this person, you minimum expect something. So expectations are more, and therefore the occasional disappointments are also more. So right thing to do is what? Accommodation, large-heartedness, compassion, love, regardless of what they do. It's your value. So thus following these values of being an accommodative or kind or compassionate person, that kindness is a value. When it comes to interacting with other human beings, kindness is a value. Compassion is what I have within me, and kindness is what I have in the behavior. But it's not easy to remain kind when somebody is not kind to you. Even if they are kind, if they are not kind as you expect them to be, they think that we are kind to you, but I may not think so. So expectations are there. So this value should become valuable, that rather than tit for tat, accommodation is more valuable. Rather than, we may not punish them, but then there are many ways of punishing also. Sometimes one is aggressive, passive aggressive, this kind of things are there. Some way I show. No, not even passive aggressiveness. Not aggressive aggressiveness, not passive aggressiveness, in fact, just kindness. On the face of what the world does to me. Just one value. If I realize that it is kindness that can create that favorable mirror of the mind where I can see myself a pleased person, I become pleased with myself when I am kind, not when I am not kind. I don't like myself. I might settle an account, tit for tat, but I do not like that tatting self, tit for tat. When I do tit, I don't like myself. But by habit I do that, so I would overcome that habit. This has become our habit to retaliate, to punish, to be cruel. It's a habit. Be alert and slowly overcome those habits. Create new habits. And so, this is a very dedicated effort, requires alertness. To be alert when this value, because very often we realize later on, even that also is not bad. Even if we fail to follow a value and we recognize later on, doesn't matter, we can teach the mind. So constantly working with the mind, teaching the mind, this is what you should have done, next time do this. So it's a daily affair, every day this happens. Then that's good, make a strategy. How am I going to everyday work? So this is one value we talked about, is kindness. With people, human beings, because with dogs and cats we have no problem. We are always kind to dogs and cats and everybody else because they are kind to us also. They don't react. They don't talk back. A dog doesn't talk back. My teenager child is a different entity, brother, so that would be different. But that is why we grow only with the teenager child, not with the dog. Dog is our escape. That when I am totally wounded and or otherwise beaten up, I go to that retreat corner, where I'm going to be treated with love, and I know I can. It's a predictable love. Here you cannot predict anything. So thus, this kindness becomes a value, and then every other value comes. Even if you pick up one value, all other values have to be followed today or tomorrow. To be really following one value will require us to be non-violent. See, to be kind, you have to be non-violent. And then also to be kind, I should respect the person. To respect others. Then I should respect the right also. Then they have a right to know the truth, then truth is respected. You see, truthfulness also becomes value when I respect the other person. When do I respect when I respect the other person, when I respect the right. And there it is their right to know the truth. Or it is at least their right that they are not misguided. So that is how truth also becomes value. Non-violence also becomes value. Pick up anyone and others have to come. Somehow in my mind this thing came just now, But any one value is very nice. More and more committed we become, more and more complex it becomes also. What is meant by kindness in a given situation also requires to be interpreted, because kindness is not the description of behavior. It is the spirit that I have behind a behavior. That's what makes the behavior kind. So what is kindness here? It is not always just giving in what they want, and that's not always kindness. In kindness, there must be a genuine desire to really do something which is beneficial to that person. I become a contributor when I have a genuine desire to do something which benefits the person. Meaning that what is beneficial to that person becomes my value, and that is what happens when I am kind to that person. So what is kindness in a given situation? That which is beneficial to that person. So it can be cruel outwardly. Outwardly you may give a slap because the fellow is, intoxicated. And maybe giving a slap is beneficial to that person. So kindness is not the description of behavior. It is what is my intention. So my intention is always that sarve bhavantu, let them be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Let them be happy. And how can I become an instrument in somehow contributing to their well-being? First, at least, I should refrain from hurting them. But ideally, because Gautam Buddha, they say that ahimsa, non-violence, is not a static value of not violating somebody. You are truly non-violent only when you are compassionate, then only you can be truly non-violent. Because otherwise in your mind, even when you are indifferent, even when you do not retaliate, not violent outwardly, inwardly you may be indifferent, inwardly you may not care, inwardly you may wish something else. No. So each one of these values is a dynamic value, which requires us to be deliberately a good person. I can follow any one value only when I am a good person. And therefore in every situation I have to invoke the goodness from me. Because both the eyes are ready. The evil fellow also is there and the good fellow also is there. Both eyes are there. And I must very deliberately invoke the good eye, the goodness from me. So in every situation, every moment, that is only when a value like kindness can be practiced, when I genuinely wish well of the other person. Otherwise, even outwardly I am smiling and appearing kind, but genuinely do not wish well. I could be manipulative also. I mean, you can manipulate also and appear like a very pleasing person, etc. That's how the world is. All salespeople may be like that. But we're talking about genuine. I'm not suggesting that you start doing that because you have to be very cautious. These things are pretty, following a value without boundaries can be pretty risky, hazardous. So we are not saying that you follow this value without boundaries. In the beginning you have boundaries to be safe, and then slowly you can stretch the boundaries. So being a good person, that is called a contributor. Who is a good person? Who wishes well of others. And not only just wishes, but tries to do as best as he or she can to bring about the well-being of others. That will exhaust you completely. Then you have to, what is others? Then you slowly keep on increasing your circle of concern. But at least we can practice this with the concerns that we have. A Mahatma Gandhi would think that you are doing it only when you do for the whole world. Now that is it. That will happen someday. You are really a kind person when you are kind to the whole world. Meaning in what you do, the well-being of the whole world is included. What I am saying is, how demanding these values are, more and more we try to practice them. That's why Gandhi used to say that when you are about to do anything, ask yourself, how is your action going to affect the poorest person? So what you are about to do, in what way will it benefit the poorest person? That will decide what's the right thing to do. But in short, we will discover greater and greater dimensions of what is goodness, what is the contributor. And our mind will become cleaner and cleaner mirror, and more pleased self. And if you want infinite pleasedness, so don't think that this knowledge that I am Brahman just comes like that. It is something which is culmination of all this work that a person has to put in. If you complain, Swami, the knowledge doesn't come, how is it going to come? That mirror has to be, has to be created, has to be, And our life gives the greatest opportunity. And that when active life is a greater opportunity. Lord Krishna doesn't like sannyasa, really speaking. He wants everybody to do things. Although Shankaracharya will, interpret sannyasa everywhere. That sarvakarma sannyasa, this. So even though Lord Krishna doesn't say, Shankaracharya will add a step. Do this and sarvakarma sannyasa. That is our own interpretation, which we respect. But in his own words, Lord Krishna has never talked about sannyasa. Asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purusha. He says that purusha paramapnoti, a person attains the param or the limitless, acharan karma, while performing his duties, asakta, with detachment. So meaning that Lord Krishna says that one value of detachment, what he teaches is detachment all along. So one value of detachment can paramapnoti purusha. Detachment is not running away or not. Detachment is what? This is detachment. You are really detached only when you are kind, otherwise you are not detached. Detachment doesn't mean that being indifferent or something. The real detachment is when you are a kind person. That is when you are really detached in every situation. Therefore, doing your duties, doing what you are required to do in every situation. Asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purusha. A purusha paramapnoti attains param or the limitless. So, acharan, it shows the present tense, is a present participle, acharan. Acharan apnoti. Meaning that apnoti, attainment happens when this is a continuous process. Anyway, I'm just saying what the grammar says that. I'm not saying that the interpretation, but the thing is that, as our Swami used to say, then automatically things will happen. That when the right time comes, then there will be teacher, right time comes, there will be teaching, right time comes, this will happen. So that's what Shankaracharya, that's what Lord Krishna means when he says. It doesn't mean that simply karma leaves you there, that it will happen. Okay. But what we have in our hand is karma. Asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purusha. So, anasakti, detachment, these values, attitudes, is called detachment. Because moment I want to do something that I like, attachment is there. Only when I do something that is right, then there is detachment to what I like. So that's how purification of mind is the right values and attitudes for which we have plenty of opportunities. When we live the day-to-day life, at home, in place of work, challenges are there every moment. And challenges can be difficult also, because sometimes challenges are such that it's beyond our capacity to put up with that pain. You have to watch out. We are not saying that you follow a value thoughtlessly or, recklessly. But we recognize that I am not able to do this because of my boundary. I cannot speak truth in this situation because of my limitation. Not that truth is limited. or truth has limited use. No, it's my limitation. I am not yet large-minded enough to be so kind to this person. No, that person I cannot be kind. I am not large-hearted to accommodate that person. Okay, I'll wait for a time when I can do. But not that this is impractical. Swami, this is impractical. No, it's not impractical. It requires us to grow constantly. So this self-growth or emotional maturity, whatever you call it, is a process of self-purification. To create that mirror of the mind which reflects a pleasing self. And that is when I feel happy. And that's what I want. So only way to be happy is this. There is no other way. No other way. Punya karma also, when you do good also, they will bring you happiness. Meaning that when you perform a good action with desire, then fulfillment of desire will bring a limited happiness. Okay. But real happiness comes only when you perform desireless action. Meaning selfless action. That brings genuine happiness. A self-centered good action is also good. But there is a binding happiness. But happiness that comes by being selfless is a freeing happiness. One is rajas happiness, other is sattvic happiness. Trividyamam somapaha pudapapaha yajñerishva svargatim prarthayante. Lord Krishna says that there are many who perform those very elaborate rituals called somayaga. Yajna ishtva, they perform a lot of yajnas, prarthayante. With what desire? Svargatim, they want svarga. And they get it. Te punyamasad, surendra lokam, mashnandi divyan, divide. Oh, they get the punya and they definitely go to heaven and enjoy those pleasures. But kshine punya, mat lokam vishanti. When punya gets exhausted, they again start from where they were. Not only that, but when I go to heaven and live the life of this pleasure, of sense gratification, I come back to earth with a samskara of sense gratification, so I am likely to seek further gratification only. Meaning that I am creating wrong habits. By giving my mind what it likes, mind gets used to that and it wants more and more of that. So that is a binding happiness. Swargadim prarthayante. Lord Krishna is lamenting that doing all this karma, they could have desired to prarthayante, they could have wish for me, he says, The commentator says that Swargadim prarthayante, not to Ishwaram prarthayante. They don't want Ishvara as a result of this karma, they want Swarga as a result of this karma. That shows aviveka. So, as best as we can. What Lord Krishna by detachment is as best as selfless as we can, as greater a contributor as we can, as kind as we can, etc. Slowly, step by step. That's the way of becoming happy, and there is no other way. There is no other way of becoming happy. We can get some bites here and there, by doing some good work, which is good. Basically, whenever we are able to enjoy a moment of happiness from anything, it is not coming from there, it is coming from punya karma. Even when a slice of pizza makes me happy, it's my past punya karma that is making me happy, really. Otherwise, pizza comes, but then my mouth is sore, I can't eat it. So what I am saying is, if that punya karma is not there, then even if the thing is good, the situation is not there for me to enjoy it. So even now also, whenever we get even a moment of happiness from anything, it may be sense some gratification you get is result of only punya karma. So other thing is to do punya karma. Better is to do self. Punya karma is two kinds. One is punya karma with a desire, other is punya karma without desire. So even doing charity, etc., is all punya karma. With the desire that may I get this, go to Tirupati and then God give me this and give. So artharthi bhakta. One who does good, but artha, he wants some desire to be satisfied. Better than nothing. But that is also a binding thing, because more you give your mind, more and more it gets used to asking for it. Like any child, like anything. So to work in developing a disposition of mind where it doesn't keep on asking and begging, that the disposition is transformed to a disposition of giving. Takes a long time. But that is the work we have to do. And that is the way to become happy, and only way. There is no other way of becoming happy. Becoming rich, yes. Wealthy you can become, famous you can become, powerful you can become, and you may as well become. Happy is a different thing. In our Swamiji's words, miserable, poor miserable, wealthy miserable. Unknown miserable, well-known miserable. Nobody miserable, powerful being miserable. I mean that thing is a big function of different, you see, because happiness is a function of a different thing. We think happiness is a function of all these things, of wealth or fame or power. That's what the world has trained us, taught us, and then indoctrinated us. And world merrily keeps doing that, and that's what every government does, that let us give more wealth and more fame and more power, and we are creating happiness. So if they are creating happiness for us by creating this, as they understand it. But the whole world has adopted wrong value from wrong understanding of what brings happiness. They set wrong examples. So who are people who are valued, are wealthy, powerful, famous? Not that they are ordinary people. They are great people. I don't deny that. We don't discount that. That's a great achievement. Maybe intellectual achievement or any different kind of, that's an achievement. But then that's not enough. After getting all those things, if you become a greater contributor, then it's fine. So you can achieve those things. Because to contribute also you need some resources. What if you don't have anything, what can you contribute? Ultimately what makes me happy is being a contributor. Meaning contributing to the happiness of somebody. That's what is contributor. So that's how purification of mind. Questions?